Hello, leader. Let me ask you something. What happens when you don't properly plan for the holidays? Not just Christmas, but Black Friday, Thanksgiving, New Year's, even Halloween. For my clients, it can look like sinus infections, back issues, team drama, missed family moments, burnt dinners, and a January hangover that's not from champagne. But it doesn't have to be that way this year. And are you thinking that only businesses who sell products have to worry about planning for the holidays? No, not true. Every business is affected by the holidays because your clients, team, and your own well-being are impacted. Today, we're opening up the conversation about how successful leaders plan ahead instead of just bracing themselves for the holiday whirlwind. I've got some real client stories that might feel all too familiar to you, but that's the point. You are not alone in this annual challenge. And stay with me to the end of the episode because I have an invitation for a live interactive workshop where we'll take everything you're hearing today and so much more and bring it to life for you with real tools, real planning, and real results. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast, Smart Leadership for Women Who Mean Business. I'm Shelli Warren, your team and leadership coach, and your no-fluff guide to building a powerhouse team that actually gets the job done without you holding their hand every 5 minutes. You're not just a business owner, you're the leader now, and I'll help you step up, lead smart, and stop micromanaging. Stick with me and you'll learn how to hire, fire, and inspire a team you lead with confidence and finally get your night and weekends back. And here's the hard truth. The team that got you here may not be the team that gets you there. So let's trade burnout for bold leadership and stack your team. This episode is powered by the Leadership Lab, my high-touch, small group coaching program for women running an established business with a team of 5 or more. If you're tired of being pulled into every little thing and you want more time for strategy, creativity, VIP clients, or even building a second business, you don't have to go it alone. It's time to stop feeling so exhausted by trying to hold it all together. The Leadership Lab helps you step out of the daily operations, build a capable team, and lead boldly without burning out. If you're ready for more capacity, more confidence, and more time for what matters most, apply today at stackingyourteam.com/leadershiplab. Okay, let's get into it. Let's do things differently this holiday season by leading through it without burning yourself or your team to a crisp, because the holidays don't start at Christmas. For most small business owners, they start the moment pumpkin spice hits the shelves. So let's set the scene. You're juggling sales campaigns, final deliverables, holiday hours, team schedules and bonus plans, extended hours, and a year-end performance reviews likely, all while buying gifts, booking travel, figuring out your holiday dinner menu, and trying to make memories for your family. I see you trying to do it all. And here's what can happen when you don't plan for the season. Listen to these real stories from behind the scenes during my client coaching calls, because here's what can happen when you don't plan for the season. Let's call this one Black Friday Backfire. One client launched a last-minute Black Friday promotion, 400% increase in sales, which sounds great, but she had no system for this level of fulfillment. One team member quit, one went silent, and she spent 8 hours on the phone with Stripe the week before Christmas. Now, we fixed it with clear SOPs and team drumbeats, but she learned the hard way that momentum without preparation is a liability. Here's another one. Let's call this one the burnt out baker. Another client wanted to hand bake cookies for her clients while managing team bonuses, wrapping up Q4, and prepping her family's Christmas. She didn't sleep. She got a sinus infection that turned into bronchitis. She was on antibiotics at the Christmas Eve service. Her teen daughter looked over at her and said, "You're always sick at Christmas." Ouch, it was true. She was always sick at Christmas. This year, she's delegating more. She's still making those cookies, but just not doing everything. And she's certainly not trying to do it all alone. Here's another one. Let's call this scenario the silent treatment at home. My client was so depleted from leading her team through December that she'd come home and just check out. Her partner carried everything: groceries, gifts, guests. Her fuse was short. She missed her niece's dance recital. And then in January, she told me, "I don't think I looked my husband in the eye for a week." Jeez, can you feel her guilt? Now she preps with her family, not just her team. Everyone is in the loop and everyone gets the best of her, not just what's left over. Here's another client story. You might resonate with her because she was suffering from the January crash. She executed a flawless holiday season at work, but then she spent all of New Year's Day asleep. Yeah, no exaggeration, the whole day. Her joints flared up and she was feeling autoimmune fatigue for the next few weeks. You see, she had led her team beautifully through December, crushed her year-end goals, client gifts went out, team bonuses were paid. She even hosted a holiday lunch. But then it all went sideways and she realized this had happened the year before too. And she told me, "I always end the year accomplished, but obliterated." So the question is, will you plan for the holiday season or will you let this scenario happen for you? And here's the thing. Your business should be built strong enough to protect your health, not cost it. My client is excited about this year because she's doing it differently by planning ahead, well ahead, and she's protecting her health like the asset that it is. Let's take a few minutes and have a look at some warning signs that you are headed for a holiday meltdown. Here are some red flags I see with my clients. How many of them ring true for you? First up, your calendar is already full and it's only October. Or your team is waiting for a plan you have not built. Or you're telling yourself, "I'll rest once it's all done." But that's not rest, that's collapse. So let's flip the script. Here's my framework for a 3-part prep plan for a better holiday season. And spoiler alert, this is only a mini little bite of what we will focus on during the upcoming Sleigh the Season live workshop, but more on that later. First up, let's prep your business. So you need to be thinking about things like, are you going to add festive touches to your workplace, your marketing, maybe your website or branding? How will you communicate to your clients and customers about what's happening at your business over the holidays? So think about hours of operations, promos, or events. You're going to need to pre-write some emails, policies, and set up some autoresponders. And how confident are you really about your tech stack and your cybersecurity? You're also going to want to create some SOPs for returns, refunds, or those weird requests. And you're going to want to run your January plan before December ends. Next, we prep your team. So we need to think about things like, what are your holiday hours? You're also going to look at who's available to work, when are they available to work, and let's not forget about identifying who are your backups, and then who are the backups to the backups. We also want to clarify and reinforce decision-making space for those customer service scenarios that you know are going to crop up over the holidays. And what about your team holiday celebration? What's that going to look like? Or will you defer to the new year, or maybe pull it up into November instead? Then we prep yourself. So you're going to want to decide on what you are not going to do over the holidays. You're also going to want to set a cutoff date for late night work. You heard me. You're going to pick a date on the calendar where you're no longer going to be working in the fringe hours. And you're going to block out some family or even some solo time. Yes, you heard me, solo time on your calendar. And then where do you need extra help? What is going to be the plan to ask and get that extra help. Okay, let's get real. You've likely had years where you feel disappointed when the holiday season closes, because here's the truth. It's not that you didn't put a bit of a plan in place, at least in theory. It's that you didn't plan differently from the year before. So you overfunction and you try to make it all just so magical. But you become bitter, sick, short-tempered, or invisible, and then you feel guilty for it. So how about choosing calm over chaos and lead the season like the CEO you are, not like a holiday hustle queen? This is the moment to lean into the contrast between burnt out and bitter versus present and peaceful. And think about it. Every year, you get to choose. You can default to hustle or design a holiday season you can feel proud of, one that protects your business, your team at the business, and your team at home. And most of all, one that protects your well-being. So don't go anywhere. I've got a next step for you that's too good to miss. This workshop will fast-track everything we talked about today and so much more. And you'll walk away with a plan you actually are going to follow. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, planning. I'm terrible at that. Okay, I hear you. Some of my clients tell me the same thing. They know that there's a ton of value in planning. They just don't feel very comfortable doing it without some sort of, roadmap. That's why we created the upcoming workshop, Sleigh the Season. Join us and in just 60 minutes, see how high-performing leaders do it differently during the holidays and why surviving the season shouldn't be your only goal. You'll see that while everyone else is scrambling, smart leaders prepare. You'll have a plan for the season so you can lead with calm, not chaos. Bring a team member with you. This workshop is $25. There will be a replay, and people always tell us that our workbooks are fantastic. Join this 60-minute live session with me. Get your planning workbook, and let's create a better experience for you this holiday season. Go grab your seat at stackingyourteam.com/holiday. You're allowed to protect your peace. You're allowed to say, not this year, to chaos. And you're allowed to step into a different ending, one that doesn't have you wiped out or disappointed in January. Let's slay this season together. I'll see you at the workshop. And until next time, lead your team, your business, and yourself well. So get on over there and grab your seat. The link is in the show notes, or DM me on Instagram, or visit our website, stackingyourteam.com/holiday. Thanks for tuning into the Stacking Your Team podcast, smart leadership for women who mean business. If today's episode helped you see your leadership in a new way, I'd love to hear about it. Come connect with me on Instagram, where I'm at Stacking Your Team, and tell me what's troubling you about your team right now. And one last reminder that you can apply to join the Leadership Lab from the Stacking Your Team website. We're welcoming new members right now. It's time to stop getting pulled into daily operations and start leading at a higher level. Imagine breathing easier, trusting your team to deliver, and finally having more time for your highest valued work. I can't wait to meet you. And hey, if you're tuning into this podcast because you work somewhere and you want to develop your leadership skills, I invite you to start following our sister company, Thousand Islands Leadership Consulting. Check us out on Instagram or LinkedIn so you can chart your course to the next level of leadership.